Okay, this time around, I want to talk about the ESE or the ESFJs in socionics, or how socionics kind of looks at it. This is the type I really want to talk about because it's one of those types I feel that just doesn't get enough love and often gets hit with uh, a shitty stereotype that just undermines them a little bit and probably makes it hard for people to type themselves as an ESE. All right, so what am I talking about? So normally when people mention ESEs, ESFJs, people tend to say basic bitch, or they tend to say the mommy grandma type that just wants to feed you food and pancakes until you just explode, right? Seen that on other channels and so forth. Is that necessarily wrong? It kind of is because it only captures a certain type, a certain version of an ESE, all right? A certain classic view that sounds like your mom from or grandma or something, somebody who was born in the 1930s or some shit, right? So what about ESEs in a more modern sense? What's an ESE really all about? Well, here, once again, World Socionics Blogspot. So here's one, okay? The host. Here's some people, famous people that are on here. You can see who they've got. Nice long list, whatever, right? But what's the most important thing with an ESE? What are they really all about? Well, emotions, particularly extroverted ethics, extroverted feelings, right? These are people that are optimistic, bright, lighthearted, vivacious, emotionality, express themselves, blah, 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 blah. You can read it. These are all people that what they care about the most is the mood of the room, creating a good, fun, happy, pleasant vibe among people. Okay, they're good at just being that ray of sunshine usually in the room. And that's kind of where you get like that whole like grandma kind of approach comes into it because they're usually good at doing that. So they're going to be pretty social, outgoing. Um, Generally, of course, they're going to be good with people and they're going to care about the image they put out. All right, they're aware of what they are being seen by others, and they want to make sure they're seen in a good way, in a positive way. Having said that, here's where we're going to get away from the grandma thing. There's that public image, the way you want people to see you, and then there's the more private side of you, right? So just because you're a nice, happy-go-lucky person, all right, very childlike, very just warm and endearing and all that, don't mean you ain't a freak. Okay, you have a little bit of that going on sometimes. So, this is a good moment right here. Like Walt Disney, what did he do? He created Disney World. If you go to Disney World, it looks like a nice, happy place. It's family friendly. Kids are invited. Nothing raunchy, nothing dirty, nothing. There's no bad in this world. Everything is great. That's kind of what ESEs would like to create for people. That doesn't mean that they actually think there's nothing wrong with the world. On the contrary, many of the times they know there's bad things in the world. They know there's suffering. They know there's evil. They know there's difficult decisions and awful things that have to happen in the world. They're aware of that. They just don't want to be the ones to deal with it directly. Okay. Most of the time, ESEs are not the type of people who want to go into those um, careers and jobs where life is, it's tough decisions, dark shit. All right. They're not going to be prison wardens. They're not really going to want to be president of the United States. They're not want to be major CEOs because they don't want that kind of heavy responsibility. Okay. They don't want to deal with dark stuff. These are not people who are likely to become generals of the military. They don't want to deal with that. They prefer to deal with family, good vibes. How do I treat my friends, and so on. All right. Rather than keep talking, somebody who really comes to mind as a great example, if you've seen the show, Emily in Paris, right? I'm a fan of the show. So here, I mean, look at this character, right? Just in these collection of images and stuff. Look at the outfits, bright, happy, smiling, pretty, um, impactful. She's wearing, bright colors and outfits. She clearly cares for her aesthetic. It's another thing. Common for somebody who's going to be like an SFJ. Um, they're showing that SI that they care about. They also have some SE, so they can be forceful. And they care about the FE most of all, the impact that they're having on people. Look at some of these outfits. You think some of that doesn't cause impact on people? Whether you like it or not, whether you're throwing up in your mouth or you find it hot, it creates an impact. You notice her and you're going to have a thought. She's not wearing some frumpy, oversized sweater and yoga pants that everyone would wear. It's something that stands out. All right. If you've seen the show or you've seen little bits of it, whatever, you're looking at somebody who's young in their 20s. This isn't grandma who wants to cook for you and make pancakes. This girl might not even know how to cook. Hard to tell. It's not important. I don't need to create a good vibe and a good atmosphere by making you pancakes. I can do it a different way by just being vivacious, by being energetic, by being just a nice, fun personality. It's warm and helps everyone feel better, right? Pancakes don't necessarily make people feel better. Okay. This is another show where, again, young ESE, dating, talking to her friends a lot, making friends, having sex with a variety of people. All right. None of that is what you'd expect when you think of grandma. Okay. You could say this is a bit of sorority girl. Yeah, sure. Typical college. Yeah, sure. If you wanted to. But this is a character type that we see in the world, right? The individual values of the person, whether they want to be very sexual, very outgoing, seen dating people or not, that's subjective. That depends on the culture you come from, right? What part of the world do you come from? What's your family life like? What's the culture like? Do they value that sort of being perceived that way or not, right? It can depend. But don't make the assumption of saying ESEs are grandma, wholesome grandma who goes to church on Sunday and just wants to make sure you've been fed all day. No, not going to have that. Uh, Charlotte from Sex and the City, I would say a very ESE, ESFJ classic, hard to argue with. Um, Again, if you've seen that show, not sure who else comes to mind at the moment, but these are some great examples. Again, you see me scrolling, and it's just look at these outfits, happy, smiley. On the show, she can screw things up because she's just not very knowledgeable on French culture or not knowledgeable how to speak the language. So she blunders into things. She's even accused of being a basic bitch. All of it pretty much true, but she still finds a way to endear herself to the character. She finds a way to make it up to him. She finds a way to bridge the gap socially and becomes kind of a lovable character, really. I mean, how do you not like this person? It's like grandma. How do you not like grandma? Of course you like grandma. And this little 20-something-year-old, even if you want to call her basic, how do you not like her? Maybe if you're an ESI or something, like, I don't know, why would you not like this? I don't know. So it's a type that is, again, underappreciated, often just written off as being basic and boring and who cares because we all want to deal with the so-called deep, intuitive types that are so much more sophisticated. No, they're not. Bullshit. You telling me that you wouldn't want a little ray of sunshine in your life every once in a while? That sucks. Like, please, right? So hopefully that helps to add a little bit to the ESEs and for people considering themselves as an ESE. Oh, by the way, this same applies for men. Again, we often think of ESEs as women, and it's always grandma or Emily here, but there are men like this. And in the future, I'll dig up some examples of them. But you have men like this. In fact, I'm sure there's a few on the show. Um, but you have men who do the same thing. They can be interested in their aesthetic. They can be very warm, funny, interested in having a good time, creating a good time for people, making sure people are comfortable and feel good, so on. Very alpha quadra values, right? And they're men. It's another huge problem to consider. ESEs, we often think of them as women, but remember, there's going to be a lot of ESEs that are men, okay? And they're giving you the same vibe. All right. So as always, subscribe, like, give me your comments. Let me know if this was helpful. Let me know if you also think ESEs suffer from the grandma basic bitch typing too much. And if maybe you yourself are an ESE and you've struggled because you didn't relate to the whole grandma making pancakes and all that stuff. Uh, again, so like and subscribe. Let me know what you think. Leave your comments. Always love to chat with people.